Laura Barron is here in the studio with me, and we've been discussing sex addiction with Julianne and Michael Cusick. Michael got real bad into his sex addiction in spite of being someone who was counseling people and was someone who was being trusted by others. He was not honest with himself, and it took him some very bad places. We're having this conversation tonight this is becoming increasingly a problem, first of all. We've come through a pandemic of abuse, and so a lot of people are acting out sexually in way and with addictive fashion that really is problematic. And also, one of the things I want to raise awareness about, there are a lot of women out there that don't trust their instincts. It may not be addictive cheating going on out there, but you may not be getting what you need from a relationship. It may not be as dramatic a story as this. And Laura, I know you address that an awful lot, is that women need to trust their instincts and take action.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I just had a client who endured 10 years of constant cheating and felt very similar in the fact that she should stay in the relationship. It's the right thing to do. And she is finally flourishing. She got out of there. We got her out of there. And you know what? He is with another woman, and he's cheating. He is cheating on his new bride.
And that may not be sexual addiction. That may just be a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Julianne, you want to make...
Sexual addiction and cheating, they're both liars.
Well,
they are both liars.
Go ahead. Julianne, go ahead.
I have a question. Someone who stays with a man for 10 years while he continues to act out is very different from being married to a man, choosing to stay and watching him transform his life right before my eyes. And he has been clean, no slips, no oops, no nothing. Out of 19 years, 19 out of 19 years.
Yeah, let me go to some calls, guys.
Big difference.
I'm going to go to calls. Candace in Colorado. Candace.
Hi, Dr. Drew, and hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on the show.
Welcome.
My question is it normal for men to watch porn? I mean, will it turn into cheating, or is it something that women just start to feel insecure about? Because I do feel insecure about it.
Laura, you want to address that?
Yeah.
Oh, Candace,
First of all, you don't need to feel insecure unless he is spending more time on the computer touching the keyboard than he is touching you. You know, you need to just keep those lines of communication open, and if there's something that he's watching that you find offensive, let him know. But we all deserve our opportunity to explore our sexuality. There is nothing to be fearful of.
Yeah, because somebody's looking at porn does not mean they're a porn addict. Margie in Oregon. Margie.
Yes, I have a comment. I was married to a wonderful man for 35 years. He got killed in a terrible accident. So after 2 years, I started dating my old high school sweetheart. And I soon found out he was so hooked on porn that he couldn't even perform. I agreed to go to 2 psychologists with him, and they both told me privately that porn addiction was the hardest addiction to cure, worse than crystal meth, he said. And he asked if I didn't love this man, run, don't walk, run, don't walk away from him.
Michael, you want to address that, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. My book is about porn and sex addiction, both through my own story and through a clinical lens. And I would agree that porn addiction is one of the hardest addictions to overcome. And that's because you can't just shut off your sexuality. It's a gift. And yet online pornography has profound addictive components related to the brain and our brain highways and the intensification of dopamine. And so if a person really does not commit to treatment and a path of recovery, there's actually a very low chance of them just being able to stop it because their spouse wants them to.
That's right.
It really does require a very intentional path.
For an extended period of time. Often there's trauma history in the background. Often trauma in the background. And two things I would say. Some people believe that sex porn addiction is the most rapidly increasing diagnostic category in this country, number one. And number two, imagine if you had an addiction, say to crack cocaine, and you had a crack pipe sitting on your work desk every day and a crack pipe sitting in your bedroom, which is really what porn, the computer is like for these people with porn addiction.
That's right.
Tori in Virginia. Tori.
Yeah. And
Hey, Dr. Drew.
Tori.
How are you?
Right, good. Well, what's going on?
I had a friend when I was younger that her husband was doing the same thing, and she could never, Julianne said that she didn't feel loved, that she always, it was hard for her because she remembered the prostitution. She could never, my friend could never get to the point to where she felt loved again and the marriage dissolved. How did Julianne get to the point to where she doesn't remember that?
And Julianne, I'm going to add to that and say that I understand even in that first year that Michael got into recovery, he was still opening up more and more about the magnitude of his addiction. That must have been hard to find your way into love again.
Yes, absolutely. The first year was devastating. and there was a process of disclosure of he would remember new things. Tori, my heart goes out to your friend. As far as love and feeling loved, that really changed in our relationship, where before I really felt hated in the first few years of our marriage. There was a disconnect. Afterwards, when the truth was really out in the light and Michael was really not holding anything back anymore, and he was committed to telling me everything that he had done, he was also simultaneously pursuing me in a relationship. Things we'd never done before. We got mountain bikes and went mountain bike riding together. We lived at a place where there was a hot tub for 3 years, and we finally went to the hot tub together. He was involved in the kitchen and cooking, and we had special dessert that we'd make together all the time. And so there was those small things, those relational things that you build emotional intimacy on, those began to grow in our relationship, and that's where the feeling of love came from and where it grew again.
Thank you. I've got to take a break. Sorry, I've got to take a break, Julianne. Thank you to the Cusicks for joining us. Thank you to Laura Barron. The book is called Surfing for God. Thank you, Laura, for being here. Appreciate it.